Can you hear me?
Hey, Commissioner. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Perfect.
Hey, Melissa.
No, Miss Pegram, you're an attendee still. Once we come to your portion of the presentation, we'll elevate you to panelist. Commissioner Rhodes, since Andy won't be available today, I'm making you a co-host.
What do I need to do?
If you could just help me monitor the meeting today, I should be fine moderating, but every now and then I might need help with something.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening. How are you?
That
How are
was
you,
me.
Commissioner McCollum?
That was me, McCollum.
Oh, well, how are y'all doing? Hey,
Good. How you?
I'm up in here. I'm good.
That's good.
Another day.
Another day.
Another day indeed.
You all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm
What's
trying to
wrong?
connect you to my phone.
Ah, understood.
Mm.
Commissioner McCray, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it looks like we'll be starting in the next minute. I'll go ahead and start broadcasting this live to YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commissioners. Okay, we'll be starting shortly. Commissioner Rhodes, is there anyone else in the attendee list in terms of ANCs that we need to elevate?
I'm checking. I don't see anyone, but if there's another commissioner in attendees, can you raise your hand, please? I guess that's it.
Okay, go ahead and start a broadcast live to YouTube. Looks like we'll have to record this one. It's giving me some issues here. Let's see. Okay, we dropped the agenda in tonight's chat. I'll ask all commissioners to come on camera for the remainder of the meeting unless there's a presentation. We had some folks that were labeled as commissioners and were not commissioners previously, so just want to make sure we have folks on camera correctly and accordingly. I have a second ANC 5D on here for some reason. Can I ask who that is? I don't know if that's Andy or then I'll have to remove.
It might be, is it not Anna Roblin?
On my end, it's saying co-host.
Yeah, Commissioner Roblin, is that you? If so, you're muted. Ms. Pegram, you're not going to see yourself. You're an attendee. You're not a panelist yet.
Yes, it's me. It's
Okay,
Anna. Yeah.
thought so. Let me just rename you because it's not showing. Okay, perfect.
There's also an attendee that has 6 names in here.
Yes, we might want folks to make sure that they're named properly on the Zoom if you're presenting. If not, there might be issues getting you access to be a panelist later. Okay, I'm just dropping the agenda one more time in the chat. And we'll go ahead and proceed. It is 7:08 p.m. This meeting is currently being recorded. For those that don't know me, my name is Salvador Sauceda Guzman. I am the chair for ANC 5D, and this is ANC 5D's public meeting for the month of June 2025. Again, 7:09 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order by starting with roll call of the commissioners present to confirm if we have quorum for tonight's meeting. Starting with 5D01.
Present.
5D02.
Present.
5D03.
Present.
5D04,
Present.
5D05, myself present, 5D06,
Present.
5D08,
Present.
oh, sorry, 5D07,
Present.
5D08, 5D08 absent, just making sure they're not in the attendees, and 5D09. 5D09,
I'm here.
present. Okay, perfect. With that being said, we have quorum for tonight's meeting. Anything that we vote on will be upheld by the commission. With that being said, if you look at tonight's agenda, we have some items to discuss and vote on, starting with some presentations, some standing presentations, as well as some requested presentations by different folks in the community. If you are a presenter tonight for those requested presentations, we have Melissa Pegram and Christine Dupree. You'll be elevated to be a panelist later after 8 o'clock. So please be patient, as currently you are slated still as an attendee. With that being said, also we have some other voting action items that we want to bring up to the commission for a vote later tonight. But my understanding is that we do have some adoption of the April meeting minutes, as well as some changes to tonight's agenda. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open the floor if there's any requests to amend or change tonight's agenda as originally presented to the public 7 days in advance of tonight's meeting.
Yes. So I have a change to basically the ANC sent out a notification that required us to pay for the hybrid meeting in May. So I am requesting a vote because they are requesting money from us. So I can send around that invoice. We received it over the weekend, and it's for $2,075, but asking to have that because they are requesting payment as soon as possible. So adding that to the agenda.
Can you make a motion so we can discuss and place it on the agenda?
Yes, I move to have the OANC May hybrid meeting bill added to the agenda this evening.
Perfect. Commissioner McCray, get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor, I'll hold it open a 3-minute discussion. Commissioner McCray, just to confirm, this is a bill that we received after using hybrid technology services for our May meeting?
Yes, this is in reference to the May meeting, yes. And if we add it to the meeting minutes, I can pull up the invoice as well as send that around too, just so that everyone's in the know on kind of what happened there.
Understood. Can we propose to add this as a consent calendar item?
I'm A-okay with that. If folks are okay with that, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the commissioners in terms of this balance due by the OANC? I made it clear to the OANC Office of ANCs that we would not be using their services moving forward until we get either better technology or a better understanding of what those services would look like once rendered. So if there's a commissioner that disagrees and was okay with these services and is okay with that $2,000 bill every time we use these services, feel free to speak up. But after paying the balance due to zero out this debt that we owe to the Office of ANC, I do not foresee 5D using these services anytime soon.
I want to add that when they said that we can use the system and the services, the fee wasn't added, the fee wasn't made clear until after the fact. And I agree that I don't think we should use the system right now. I guess we're gonna have to find another way to do a hybrid meeting. but until we get clear about using the system and paying for whatever, that needs to be said ahead of time.
Okay, any other comments or additions to this discussion? Okay, hearing none. Commissioner McCray, you have a motion on the floor? It was seconded by Commissioner
Yes.
Rhodes. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Okay?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We'll add that as a consent calendar item. We also have some requests to change the tonight's agenda to add a presentation by one of the directors for the Department of Buildings to discuss the budget and also answer some of our questions regarding buildings in 5D. I would request that we I move that we remove committee reports, standing committee reports, and allot some additional time to the Executive Office of the Mayor's portion for this presentation. Can I get a second on this motion?
Discussion.
Yes. But can we get a second on the motion to open discussion?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCollum, discussion, 3 minutes.
Since we're going to take away the commissioner reports,
Committee reports.
committee reports, if we have any information, can we just put it in the chat or in a Q&A, just so that the public can see what went on in the committee? That's
Yes,
all.
I agree. Is there any requests or changes to that motion?
I just wanted to say, this is the second time that we're not having committee reports in a row. So I just want to, I mean, I totally understand, to make the meeting shorter, but I don't think that we should always sacrifice it just to make the meeting shorter. I don't think they take that long. And I just think they are sort of important. So I wouldn't want to
Do you have a
I
report,
wouldn't want to,
Commissioner?
I mean, I don't need to give the report, but I just wouldn't want to keep doing this keep neglecting these reports. I don't need to give it
My
now.
question
It's not that
is, do you have a report? It's not, I don't think we're neglecting the reports, but if there's a report, they should be shared like Commissioner Rhodes requested. Do you have a report for your committee?
Yeah, I have information. Yeah.
Understood. Anything else before we go to the vote? Okay, hearing none. We had a motion on the floor, second by Commissioner McCollum. Those in favor of making this adjustment to permit the mayor's office through the director of Department of Buildings to discuss the budget and open a small discussion on some items standing in 5D, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Okay. Are there any other requests to amend or change tonight's agenda? Okay, I move that we adopt tonight's agenda as amended at 7:18 p.m. For ANC 5D. Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of adopting tonight's agenda as amended, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have the adoption of the April minutes. Commissioner Arbuckle?
I guess there are April minutes. We should adopt them. I don't know what changes were made to them.
As a secretary, can you place a motion on the floor to adopt the April minutes?
I move to adopt the April minutes. Does anyone second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner
second.
Rhodes. All in favor of adopting the meeting minutes from April, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions?
I abstained since I wasn't present. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. With that being said, sorry, going back. Lost my link. Here we go. We have our Treasurer's Monthly Report. Commissioner McCray, your standing treasurer.
Yes. So good evening, everyone, and give me 1 second to pull this up. Just while I'm pulling this up, just so everyone knows, for for February, we had a quick typo in the meeting final approved minutes, so we had to make an update. The OANC noticed this during the QFR portion and review of that. So due to that, there was a quick update and change made. I'll go through the May and June. Funds really quickly. Give me 1 second, it's almost there. All right, and can you all let me know if you can see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so the ANC 5D balance from May, the beginning balance was $51,337.78. We did receive our OANC allotment of $5,663.08, which left us with an ending balance of $57,000.86. The June balance started with $57,000.86, and just keep in mind that it is June 10th, so we're not complete with the month yet. But we paid so far the April admin, April social media admin work, and we had to reissue check number 352, totaling $878.54. So currently our balance is $56,122.32. This is by June 30th, we'll be ending the third quarter, the third fiscal quarter of the fiscal year. So just bear in mind that we'll go through the QFR process next time. But I'll pause just to see if we have any questions. All right.
Okay, perfect. Were there any other questions from the commission or the public regarding the treasurer's report? Okay, good. Was there anything else, Commissioner McCray, that we needed to address with the finances?
No, not at this current moment. There are a few things that just admin stuff that I need to do in the backdrop to assist with some questions that Don has. But beyond that, I don't think we had anything additional right now.
Okay, perfect. With that being said, we're going to skip over our committee reports, but please, if you do have a report to add, drop it in the chat, and we'll also include that with our follow-up email and minutes for the month of June. Commissioner Roblin, you said you might have some stuff to add, so feel free to add that into your commissioner's report to share some stuff and updates on the Trash and Beautification Committee. With that being said, we have commissioner reports, our standing presentations. We're doing good on time here to get some extra time for that budget presentation that was added last minute. We'll start with commissioners again, 5D01.
Hello, I don't have anything to report. Thanks.
5D02.
Hi, real quick, we're having an event in Ivy City at Lewis Crow Park. This will be workshop number 3 from the Ivy City Resiliency Strategy Plan, and that's in partnership with Department of Energy and Environment and Ramble and Moody Graham. It's Saturday from 3 to 5. Also, if anyone from Ivy City is here, please continue to pick up your trash in front of your house. We're finding a lot of trash in the community. And also, just know, I know that there's a lot of squatters that have been entering buildings in the community, and I'm speaking to the proper channels about all of that. But if you find someone coming into your building or entering into someone's unit, please call the police, call MPD, and we have the director of Department of Buildings here, so we should get some help there. That's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D03.
Hi, this is Anna Roblin from 5D03. So we're working on getting better lighting in the 1100 block of Morse Street. We requested a new street lamp at the corner of West Virginia and Morse, and we also requested for the crew.
Commissioner Roblin, are you still there?
They-
We might have lost them. We'll come back to Commissioner Roblin once they can make themselves available. With that being said, we'll switch over to Commissioner Hostler for 5D04, the newly sworn in commissioner for Central Trinidad. So feel free to introduce yourself, Commissioner. How can folks get to know you, connect with you, and if there's anything that you're working on that you would like to bring to the neighborhood's attention?
Thank you. As my comment was, I have not yet fully gotten onboarded into the process, and/or am working to figure out how this all works. I'm new and had my first committee of the whole last week, and so I'm excited to be involved. I've been in the neighborhood since 2012, and so I've been around for a little bit, and I'm looking forward to get more directly connected. My office and work is in Ward 6 on kind of near Capitol Hill. And so I'm working to reorient and also think around this community. So I'm happy to engage. My email is in my name here. And so feel free to reach out if you have thoughts and or suggestions on how to directly connect. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Commissioner. I'm the commissioner for 5D05, which is Northern Trinidad. As some of you may know, we've been dealing with a lot of gun violence lately. We've had a few homicides and attacks on some of the residents that have led to their death. MPD is implementing more patrolling in the area. Believe it or not, today was the very first time in my tenure as an ANC commissioner that I've seen a police officer actually walking the beat. That was on Mount Olivet Road today. They were literally just walking in nature. I've never seen that before, maybe even as a resident, unless they were actually actively looking for someone. So that's pretty good for 5D. We appreciate some of the extra efforts of the Metropolitan Police Department, but I acknowledge that there's only so much that MPD can do when it comes to some of the violence that we're facing. With that being said, I'm trying to build out a mentoring program with some of the local churches, the local Black businesses, and the boxing gym off of Mount Olivet. A trifecta effect to bring in some more integrity, respect, and responsibility to our youth that are in need of different changes when it comes to these cycles that we're seeing. Some of the individuals that were gunned down yesterday were everyday young men that always shared and occupied those spaces. And it's sad to see that we are starting to see even younger children now take up some of that space that now is emptied by them. So we need to work actively as a community to break some of these cycles. And I'm happy that we're going somewhere, at least than nowhere. Also, as we know, parts of Trinidad and also just parts of our neighborhoods like Harbor Langston, in Ivy City, some spaces are always occupied by trash and illegal dumping. Through the mentoring program that I'm trying to establish, and just as an ANC commissioner, well, honestly, just as a resident, a neighbor in the neighborhood, Some of us collectively come together to pay some of the youth to clean up the trash. A lot of them do look for some extra funds on hand on the weekend when they want to hang out. Especially this is the summer when they want to enjoy some time maybe at the movies or in different spaces that are costly. We live in Washington, D.C. It's not cheap to go out anywhere here. So if you know of some areas that are in need of a cleanup and you might have $20 on hand, and we can easily find a youth to be able to pick up some of that trash off your block, just to put some money in their pocket and just to see the sidewalks and streets cleaner. So if you're in need of some of those services, please reach out directly to me. At the same time, we're coordinating some summer efforts such as Trinidad Day and still building out our block captain initiative to connect the neighborhood. But other than that, if you need anything, feel free to contact me directly at 202-826-7807. I'll save some of the updates that the council member's office will provide because they are giving us a follow-up to the community walk that we had a few weeks ago. I'll give them a shout out to say that we typically don't have follow-ups or follow-up meetings, particularly after some of these events. So it's a blessing to see that from our council member's office. So kudos to them. And with that being said, I'll pass it off to 5D06.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I go by Char. Call me Commissioner Char, whatever. Trinidad Carver Langston. And just a few updates. On May 19th, we had the second DPR meeting for the Carver Langston Park at 19th and L Street. If you're interested in kind of what those plans will become, feel free to reach out to me. I do have those slides that I can share with you. And then we hosted with myself, Commissioner Roblin, led the community day with the Trash and Beautification Committee on Saturday, May the 31st. We had a lot of resources and a lot of different agencies, and huge shout out to all the agencies that were able to show up. Even though we did get rained out a little bit, that was a very rainy weekend, we were able to touch base with some residents. So if you have any feedback from that event, if you have any questions or concerns or different agencies that you would want to see come into the community, definitely let us know so that as we continue this process, we can ensure that it's resources that are necessary to the community. And as we go forth next week on Wednesday, we will be having a transportation committee meeting. I know there's been a lot of changes to 17th Street. So feel free, come voice your concerns, your questions, your excitement, or anywhere in between. And that'll be June 18th, it'll be virtual. And we will share out that link in the upcoming ANC 5D newsletter that goes out. So if you want to join that, I'll drop my information. Feel free to reach out. And just if you have any questions or concerns, I've been meeting with residents kind of in smaller groups just throughout the neighborhood regarding concerns that have popped up, and just keep reaching out to me and we'll kind of make those necessary connections. But that's all I have on my end.
Hey, Commissioner, we have 5D07.
Thank you so much. Commissioner McCollum, 5D07. Just real quick, All right. So I'll just kind of go quick here, particularly because I see Director Hanlon on. But my neighbors here know, and the constituents over in 5D07, that we've had a notoriously dangerous situation at 1835 H Street Northeast. And we have a press conference that's set for June the 24th at 11:20 a.m. in front of the building. We're having this press conference with all the news media. I mean, our neighbors have done a very, very good job with 311 calls, with emailing to DOB. I've sent emails to DOB. I've also reached out to Keaton Cooper via email, via phone. I get no return calls. This property has been a problem. It's been problematic since the mayor did her walk here in 5D07 about a year and a half ago, year and a half ago. And at that time, I met with Director Hanlon soon after that. And we've gotten no type of relief with this. DOB has allowed these developers to start back building. The developers, this is the building that has been ongoing since 2019, and we're in 2025, and it still has 2x4s and plywood up. There's dry wood, there's rot, there's mold. The entire structure of the building, you can see it leaning. This is the same building that has collapsed before. And for there to be permits issued back to these developers to start back on this property with all the outcry that we've had in the community, it is disrespectful to all of us that live here. And so we're going to move forward with this press conference. What's good is the media was here in 2021 when the building collapsed. And when I spoke out to some of them, they could not believe that the building was still in the same condition that it has been in since 2021. I've taken pictures from the roof of my home where you can really see that the building is leaning. I've gone over and spoken to the individuals who have been working on the property since they've started back up. I have one of the guys who did not mind me recording him, letting me know that there's no way in hell, I'm quoting, that he would ever live there. And he's there building it. So I think that this is the biggest issue that we have right now in 5D07. Everyone in the community has been concerned about this. Folks are stopping by, looking and saying what they are letting them start back building there. And this is very serious for us. So I'm going to be sending everyone some invites to come and join us on the 24th for the press conference if you'd like to. But I wanted all of the constituents to know, and the neighbors on 19th Street to know, that this has not fallen on deaf ears, and together we will get some type of relief with this building and this development. So with that, everyone I think knows how to get in touch with me, 5D07 at anc.dc.gov, or I believe folks have my cell phone number as well. Thank you so much, and I'll yield the rest.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we have 5D09.
Hello, everybody. This is Commissioner G. Campbell. I don't have anything really to report, but I have an issue in 5D07 where the stores are at is illegal dumping. And I've been trying to get in contact with you, Commissioner McCullen, because they are doing it on a regular basis in the alley right across the street from my home. And I did went and talk to, even though it's not my district, I did go and talk to the store owners, because even though they're not the fault of whoever bringing the trash back there, but they still should want to make sure that they surrounding areas are clean. And that's something that they are not doing. So it's bringing the rats and, all the rodents. So can someone please help with that issue?
Which store is this?
Right on, what is that, the 20? It's right on 19th Street. It's the red and white store in the corner. It's like the 24 store or something like that. And okay. I needed, Commissioner McConnell, I really need you to reach out to me. I can't tell you what I need to tell you in this meeting, but I really need to talk to you about something. And it's very important. And it's about your district.
Let's talk directly after this. Is it the 7 Food store?
Is that the red and white one that on the strip of 19th?
Yes, it's 7 Food. And so yeah, we can. Let's definitely talk. I'm actually working with the police commander for here in our precinct regarding that store and regarding the owner. So we'll get together offline and we can talk about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, right? That's it.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving along with tonight's agenda. We did our commissioner reports, and then do we have anyone here today from the 5th District? If not, we'll have to come back to them to give a report so we can let the director speak on the budget.
And just really quickly, I know Commissioner Roblin fell off. I don't know if she wanted
Commissioner Roblin, are you still available?
And just finish out her stuff.
Thank you, Commissioner McCray. Commissioner Roblin, are you there?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did. I appreciate that, Commissioner McCray. Yeah, so let's see. I don't know where I fell off, but
you can go ahead and start over.
Oh, okay. So we're working on getting better lighting in the 1100 block of Moore Street. We requested a new street lamp at West Virginia and Morse, and we requested them to be cleaning the bulbs. Jabari Brew of Urban Forestry, who is a tree person, he also knows about lighting, and he's been assisting us with that. We also got a lot. We circulated a petition for better lighting on the block as well, signatures on that. So wish us luck, because it's not easy. This is not an easy issue to get things happening with. So I'm sure Commissioner. So yeah, this our health and wellness fair. Well, we already talked about that, but yeah, safety issues at Neil and Stables and Neil and Orr, and I'm sure Commissioner McCray talked about that. I was frozen, or she was frozen to me when I during her presentation of her SMD. But anyway, so we're working on. She's getting a meeting together with the council member's office, which will be June 24th. I'm sure she went through that, and that's amazing, because that's just a very, very serious safety issues there. I have don't have much more for my SMD, but have a lot for the trash and beautification committee. So I was just trying to put that in the chat. I'm gonna do that. So thank you.
Okay, perfect. Were there any upcoming events for the trash beautification committee?
Yeah. We decided in conjunction with the Trinidad Farmers Market director Young Kim to have clean up every single first Sunday of the month, leaving from the farmers market from 9:30 to 11. So we really hope that people will attend. The other day, yesterday, no, Sunday, we had that, and was nobody came. It was sort of rainy, but still. So we're hoping to bring up attendance on that. So please come if you can. And I'll put the rest of it in the chat. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. Were there any other ANCs that need to share something else before we move on to this presentation on the budget? Okay. With that being said, just confirming, I don't believe we have someone from the 5th District on right now. We'll contact them directly and see if they can join us later tonight. They typically have a community meeting at the same time we do every month at the 5th District, and we've let them know that there is a conflict of interest, that we have a standing meeting that we've been holding down for more than 10 years. So we would like them present at these meetings as well, even if they have their own at the 5th District. Okay, with that being said, just want to confirm. This is the opportunity for the Executive Office of the Mayor. If Christian's on, you can introduce the director, or if Commissioner Rhodes, can you elevate the folks? If you're with the Mayor's office or the director today, feel free to use the raise your hand function so we can elevate you to panelist if we haven't already done so. And we'll let you all go ahead and do your thing. Just a friendly reminder to the commissioners and the public, we have the Q&A function. It's an opportunity for you to drop questions and for us to speak out loud and allow the presenters to speak on them. So if you do have a question on this presentation, feel free to drop them in there. Or if you're one of our seniors, feel free to use the raise your hand function and we'll allow you to speak directly. As we know, sometimes the audio or technology may be a little bit difficult to manage.
I think my connection just broke up, but I think you were passing it over to me. Thank you so much, Commissioner. My name is Christian Sargel. Again, I'm with the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. I serve as the Ward 5.
Christian, I think we lost you there. We got you now.
Okay, did you hear anything that I said?
Right when you introduced your name. So we got your title and
Oh, yeah. I said thank you so much for allowing the time for the director to come in and present. And again, this is Director Hanlon with the Department of Buildings. And I'll pass it over to him.
Thank you, Christian. Much appreciated.
Thank
Everybody
you.
can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
And I see you've elevated Alex Cross, who's my chief of staff, and he's going to advance these slides. We have 21 slides. I'm not going to read every bullet on them. I'm going to give a general overview and, of course, open it up for questions. And I've got some ward-specific items to be able to address in addition to those that we've already discussed. So let me thank you again for giving me the opportunity to meet with you tonight to present the mayor's Grow DC budget. I think the mayor has done an incredible job in creating a structurally balanced budget that is focused on gaining from the strengths that we have developed over the last couple of years and under her leadership, and moving forward to make it easier to live, work, and play in the district while we navigate through some pretty tough headwinds in the budget. If you want to learn more about the budget, I'd suggest going to budget.dc.gov. That's budget.dc.gov. So I want to start with some strengths, and before we get into some of the challenges that we have, and then we're going to talk through a series of areas where the mayor's made specific investments in her budget. So 2024, we saw a really strong rebound. Our population growth, it's actually faster than any state. We've seen, of course, a violent crime drop to its lowest rate in 30 years. DC schools continue to be the fastest improving urban district school organization in the country. Record tourism rates since post-COVID, 26 million visitors. We actually lead the country right now in converting office to housing, and this is especially I think 28 clean audits, 29 balanced budgets, and we have maintained 52 days of cash on hand. So we're in a pretty strong financial position as we navigate through this time. So we'll go to the next slide, Alex. So how the mayor has closed the gap. Again, challenging budget year. I think it's important to note and critical for the mayor. She managed to avoid any furloughs and layoffs. She implemented a hiring freeze and cut non-personnel costs, enabling the district to be able to maintain essential services. She's actually restructured some spending to later years and captured some additional revenues. And she's managing to preserve key investments while addressing some urgent financial pressures. And we can actually go to the next slide, Alex. So in spite of these challenges, actually, Alex, I think it's a slide just before that. Yeah, we might be out of order. My apologies. So we've built a sound, sustainable budget. Again, structurally balanced, no new taxes or dipping into any reserves. She's reserved 243 million and reduced 243 million in spending, and avoided nearly $500 million in future obligations. And I think the deck that's on screen is out of sync with what I've got in front of me. And so I'm going to try and keep up with the slides. And Alex, you know what? Why don't you give me sharing why don't you allow me to share, because it's easier for me to go along with the deck that I've got. Can everybody see the presentation on my screen?
Yes.
Great. So now we're back on track here. So there's a couple of pillars that this is based upon. It's a growth agenda, and the mayor went through a series of 3 questions. In terms of people, does it keep people and families in the district and attract new residents? Does it create economic activity to fund city services? And does it attract new businesses and create new jobs? With the idea being, of course, that a thriving and resilient economy is actually good for everyone. And now that I'm operating both, I've got to coordinate between the two, so just bear with me. All right, great. Thank you for your patience. So couple of things here I'll focus on in terms of making it easier to do business and grow here. Working on streamlining zoning and repealing burdensome programs and pause some environmental mandates. Reduce business fees, taxes, and penalties, and removing barriers to revitalizing vacant lots. It leans hard on sports, entertainment, and tech. I think everybody, of course, knows about the deal to bring the Commanders back to RFK. Capital One Arena is a project that's well underway at this point. There's significant investment in supporting historic theaters and launching new tech hubs. Also expanding gaming options for commercial bingo, live poker, and blackjack tournaments to drive entertainment and economic activity. Additionally, in supporting downtown, there's activations during the arena construction downtown with cultural initiatives in Chinatown, increased new office conversions by expanding the housing and downtown program to Georgetown and to Mount Vernon, and revitalizing commercial corridors and enforcing vending rules, making it easier for brick and mortar businesses to thrive. So investing in our schools. There's $2.8 billion in total investment in the schools. That's a $123 million increase from FY25. This includes a $270 million for DCPS and teacher raises, $2 billion for school modernizations, $10 million for technology upgrades, and of course, child care and early education programs are fully funded. Investing in public safety, $30 million for MPD officer hiring and technology, $7.3 million for our fire department, FEMS, safety gear and fleet upgrades, new surveillance tools and enforcement policies, and a proposition to move forward on the new DC jail project. Investing in a clean DC, which is another area where DOB is playing a significant role, $4.6 million to support our Clean Corridors initiative with 80 Department of Public Works staff. I'll pause and just say we are working closely with DPW on this initiative. And if you see something in terms of dumping on a vacant site or something like that, dob.dc.gov, let us know and we'll get folks out there. There's $244,000 for DLCP vending enforcement team to work nights and weekends. And as I mentioned a moment ago, $1.8 million DOB nuisance abatement fund to help address residential property maintenance and housing code violations. Investing in economic development. So we're delivering on housing and growing neighborhoods. We're back to $100 million in the Housing Production Trust Fund, $23 million for the Home Purchase Assistance Program. We've got new communities in Berry Farm, Bruce Monroe, Park Morton, and Northwest One. And their economic development, including $6 million in repairs for the National Theater, Lincoln Theater, and Howard Theaters. investing in libraries and recreation centers. $166 million for 6 modernized libraries, $188 million for upgraded recreation centers and pools, and $89 million for a year-round youth sportsplex at the RFK site, which will likely include indoor track, gymnastics, and likely more. Investing in health. The mayor is working on strengthening access to care across the board. $97 million to support increased costs for Medicaid services, $300 million for Safe at Home to serve 795 seniors on the wait list and expand DACL's home delivered meals program for 150 seniors. Investing in human services, expanding support for our most vulnerable residents. $18 million to increase continuum of care for homeless services, $7.6 million for permanent supportive housing for 156 families, and changes to TANF to control growing costs while keeping support in place. Investing in transportation and the environment. So we're building a more connected and sustainable DC. There's $76 million in investments in WMATA, bus lanes, and pedestrian tunnels. $6 million to provide transportation for students to school and 8 safe passage zones. $13 million to expand Capital Bike Share and $74 million to build out the pedestrian and bike trail network. Investing in government operations. We're modernizing city government so it works better. $7.9 million for DCPS schools repair and maintenance, $2.1 million to enhance cybersecurity, $853 for cybersecurity infrastructure, and building a new home for the DC archives at the Charles Sumner School. That is the overview of the budget, and now we've got some specific Ward 5 investments. So investments specifically in Ward 5, which I'll just give a brief overview of. So this year's budget, it includes $266 million to renovate or modernize public schools, including Langley Elementary, Bunker Hill Elementary, and Burroughs Elementary. $27 million to renovate recreation and community centers, including Harry Thomas and Brentwood Recreation Centers, and the Langdon and Crummell Community Centers, and $126 million in local and federal funds to support bridges, interchange, and streetscape improvements along Benning Road. It's $43 million to replace the existing New York Avenue men's shelter, and $2 million for improvements to the DYRS Youth Service Center. So I'll close with saying that if you want to learn more about the budget, budget.dc.gov for more information and details. There are 2 important votes coming up. I saw late breaking news that the council is proposing to delay these votes. I would urge people to certainly call your council member and your at-large council member, Kenyon McDuffie, who is also a Ward 5 resident, to urge the council to maintain the 2 important votes that are upcoming, which are on July 14th and July 28th. And happy to answer any questions you may have. And I know there are some specific Ward 5 issues, so I'm happy to address those as well as I can. And of course, if I need to get back, we will.
I have a question. It's a,
Yes, Commissioner.
you made it sound like a wonderful budget, Director Hanson, but it's not. It's not. It gets rid of our sanctuary city status. It's taking 25,000 people off Medicaid, and there are other cuts to medical services. There, Councilmember Parker did an excellent job of going through why this is a horrible budget. It helps the wealthy on the backs of the poor. That's really the reality about this budget. It's easy to make it sound good, but I'm sorry to say, but I hope, and if you want to, if you're not getting Councilmember Parker's newsletter, I will email you the article. Just contact me 202-651-0581. But the truth, I'm sorry to say, but the truth about this budget is it's not good. It's not good for poor people. It's very bad. It gets rid of a lot of childcare things as well. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. And we'll reach out to Councilmember Parker.
Okay. Commissioner Arbuckle, you had a question?
Hello. So I saw that you mentioned bus priority funding for bus priority lanes and bus lanes. Is there any plan to implement the Florida Avenue bus lanes? I guess what's the status of dedicated bus lanes on Florida Avenue? Because the Florida Avenue U Street buses are consistently delayed.
Understood. I may not have an answer to that. Let me see if our Ward 5 Mocher does. Christian, do you know that, or do we need to get back from with DDOT on that?
That's information that we're waiting on communication from DDOT right now, and I can work with Commissioner Arbuckle to make sure that is addressed.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Thank
Of
you so much.
course. Thank you.
Director Hanlon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. I guess we can ask some questions more directed towards you. I know the mayor typically has all her directors make these presentations. Some of the questions, like one asked by my colleague, most likely cannot be answered by you because you're not the DDOT director. But let's
Okay.
talk about buildings.
Sure.
How is this budget going to be changing your agency, or not changing per se, but actually helping your agency for the incoming year? Here in South Ward 5, which encompasses ANC 5D, we're having a huge number of squatting situations where a lot of our vacant buildings are getting broken into, and we have squatters practically on every block. Now, I used to be homeless at one point in my life, and I typically don't concern myself with those situations that those folks are in. But we do find ourselves in matters where they start to act out or be disrespectful to a block that they suddenly are occupying. How is your agency able to mitigate these direct concerns that we're facing in real time with this upcoming budget that you're just presenting on?
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, the mayor has given us additional money for nuisance abatement, and I will say that we continue to work. I just had my second year, and we continue to work on improving the way we use data to understand the most egregious violations. And it's a process that we continue to work to improve. The one thing I always say is that the community, and perhaps most especially ANC commissioners, are in many ways eyes and ears for us. And so we work in concert with you, and you know, if you're not, I would say this, if you're reaching out to somebody at DOB and you're not finding them responding to you, I put my email earlier into the chat, brian.hanlon@dc.gov, and I will make sure somebody reaches back to you. Now, when we have vacant buildings, vacant and blighted buildings, this can sometimes be a painfully elongated process because we need to work to hold owners accountable. And I want to talk about a couple of things, and I know I may be going beyond the specifics of your question. When in particular you've got a vacant or blighted property that has squatters in it, this is a situation where we have to work in concert and have a great working relationship with Metropolitan Police Department. These can be very dangerous situations, and we don't want to spend inspectors in there without some additional protection. So just let us know. We will work with MPD, and we'll get out there and we'll keep showing up. And if you've got a property that with a lot of overgrowth or there's trash dumping, let us know. We'll coordinate with Department of Public Works and we'll work to get it clean. I will say this, I actually love what I heard earlier about the community actually working with local youth to do it as well. To me, it's a kind of it's an all, everybody, all hands on deck solution. Government can't solve everything. And when the community like yourselves pitches in, it just makes everything stronger. But just let us know. And I will make sure that we get somebody to respond. I'm always pained when I hear someone say, I've reached out to so-and-so and I haven't heard back. So and Commissioner McCollum, you and I will speak tomorrow.
Perfect. Were there any other questions from the commissioners? Commissioner McCray, I see your hand raised.
If I could,
Yes.
before the question, I just wanted to expound on one thing. Please forgive me, but one thing we've been doing, especially in the we have rental housing inspections, and Sam Razjulian, as you know, is an infamous landlord. And today we actually just released a press release on our most recent effort to concentrate our enforcement effort against this landlord, and frankly others where they have an egregious accumulation of unabated violations. So we've just concluded a massive blitz inspection on this individual's properties and have accumulated about $2.3 million in fines. And so it's going to work its way through the adjudication process. We are working in concert with the Office of the Attorney General, and it is our hope that this added pressure is going to force positive movement with this landlord. So forgive me for adding that in, but I think there's another question from Commissioner.
No, it's fine, and I'm glad you addressed that, because the fact that he left his property to blighted and neglected, it now we're dealing with a lot of issues because of the use that a lot of folks were using his building for.
Yes, I
So
understand.
now that that building is closed, now we're dealing with a whole community issue that we don't have enough resources to handle. So that's why I'm talking to you, because now we have several buildings that has been breached, and we need Department of Buildings, MPD, and everybody. We need all hands on deck, because
Yep.
every street in Ivy City is having issues.
Yeah, I understand, and we'll work with you on that, and in concert with MPD as well. If there's additional boarding up or hardening of the buildings, we'll work on that as well.
I hear what you're saying, but we've been complaining about this for a while, and all we're getting is either gaslit or crickets. We've been dealing with this for a while, and when we put in a ticket in, by the time someone gets there, either they don't do anything about it, or it's too late, or people have gone. But a person like Sam Rez Jr. shouldn't have been able to do this in any community. From what I hear, he's done it in several states, not just DC. So there's no reason. We're talking about the RFK and market rate housing and all this good stuff that sounds good, like Commissioner Robbins said, but communities like Trinidad and Ivy City, we're dealing with a lot of the neglect, and it's compounding. It's compounding. So I'm not sure exactly how we feel about the budget or about the RFK Stadium. That's a Band-Aid. We're still dealing with the same issues that we've been dealing with for years. So I don't mean to be abrasive with you, but I just want you to know you was you were talking at Phil Mendelson's meeting for the ANC commissioners. I reached out to Kevin Pearson. Is
Keith
that his
Parsons.
name?
Yep.
Parsons.
Yeah,
And
Keith Parsons.
Yes. And I get asked, oh, I see you're testifying at the hearing, and then said, well, what are you needing from us? And so then he looks in his email and say, oh, I see some random permit numbers that you put in the email. And I could have jumped out of my skin. They weren't random. ANC commissioners get permit numbers, They were not random. And I asked these right after that meeting that Phil Mendelson had, which was in April, and I didn't get a response till May, just from an email itself, just from an email. So we're concerned with the budget. The budget is getting cut, but a lot of these issues was happening before the budget got cut. A lot of them. So that's all I have to say. I will like to speak to you offline.
Okay.
Commissioner McCray?
And just to kind of piggyback on kind of what has been said, and I know there's a resident in the area, Skip Keefe, that brings this up a lot, but to what extent are you all going in and having a bad actors list? I submit DOB requests literally on a daily basis. And it's like, if you know that there are bad actors, and you know that they're going to go and buy these properties, and you know that there's going to be broken windows, if you know that they're not going to have proper ventilation, I guess to what extent I get that it has to go through this legal process, but why allow that to occur? And I don't even know that you would have an answer to that right now, but that's just my own kind of gripe with the process itself. But there are a few thoughts that I have just in terms of DOB, and I don't know if the budget allows for this, but it is a thought for residents that have a property. What I notice a lot is a lot of folks with the maintenance of their property, they are not maintaining it, especially these developers that come in and they're redeveloping. They allow the grass to grow. They allow trash to overflow. There's a lot of issues like that are persistent, and we are an area that has a lot of development right now. So to me, if there can be some type of consistent notice to the public about, hey, make sure, like at the start of the spring, it's going to rain. You're going to have to do property maintenance. And I have never seen anything go out to tell people, hey, these are your required areas to clean up as a property owner. And also as maybe even the landlords need to see that once a year. I don't know if the budget would allow for something like that, but I think it's very important for folks to have that. And on top of that, oh, go ahead.
No, please continue.
And just giving that notice to the public, because I think sometimes if you move from a different state, you may not know what is your required responsibility, but also for people and folks that are renting a space, their landlords are not taking care of those properties around them. And because of that, I mean, that is harmful to their health, their well-being, and where you lay your head at night matters. So a thought in that respect, if that can be added in somehow to kind of the budget, just to make sure that folks know, this is my responsibility, because otherwise I'm going to keep overburdening you guys with, oh, they just need to cut their grass because maybe I knocked on the door and they didn't answer.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, there's some good ideas in there, of course, and this is an ongoing process for us. And in fact, when I met Commissioner McCollum on that Ward 5 walk, we talked about the bad actors list, and it's a focus of mine. And I wish I could say I had a sort of the magic wand to fix it. We are continuing to get better at, and we're working with council actually on enabling us to be able to identify with more precision the bad actor landlords. And the bad actor landlords, the ones that are, opening up LLC after LLC, and, literally have sometimes their dog's name as the beneficial owner and things like that are just, almost ridiculous, are very, very wily. And so we have to continue to get smarter about how we identify these folks, and we're working on those tools. The thing that we're doing now is, we will always have just so many resources, regardless of what the budget conditions are. And we have to use those resources as prudently and wisely as possible. And so rather than spreading them out evenly across the entire portfolio of rental housing in the district, what we're working on now is looking at the landlords that have an accumulation of unabated violations. And this is, I want to address a couple points, and then applying our enforcement authority with more force on those landlords. We want to make sure, and you all can really help us with this, it is to let tenants know that we need them to let us know when they have conditions that need to be addressed. There are often tenants that do not report violations. And so the moment we know, we will schedule an inspection. And I think we're actually pretty good at getting out there with inspectors. And then we this past year, we've actually created a program. And I'll pause and say, I think most landlords are actually trying to act in good faith. I don't think most landlords are bad actors. And it is, I think, in our shared interest to not make it so difficult to be a landlord in the district and to work with tenants and landlords that are trying to work in good faith. And so we've created a program called OAR, Outreach, Abatement, and Resolution. And that program, OAR, we've seen the greatest amount of abated violations ever in the history of the agency this past year. And that is just a result of reaching out and talking to people. And so we're going to continue with that effort. We're going to continue to sharpen our tools to enable us to determine who are the bad actors, and we're going to go after them as hard as we can. And I love your idea about making sure that, seasonally, we're sending out messages to the landlord community, perhaps through our newsletter, through AOBA, the Apartment Owners Association, to remind landlords of their obligations and to remind tenants of their rights. That's another area where we need to get stronger. So I appreciate your comments there very much.
Perfect.
I think I see Commissioner McCollum.
Yeah, Commissioner McCollum for the final question.
Yep. So Director Hanlon, thank you so much for being here. I'm not going to beat this up, but I just wanted to just put a few questions out there that we've been discussing around in 5DO7. One of the main things that we've been discovering here is a lot of times it seems like the systems throughout the city are not communicating with each other. And so what a lot of these developers are doing is when they know that they have fines or they know that they have stop work orders maybe on this property, they may have another property that's over across town, or they may even be finished with that property that they've had 50 stop work orders on when they were designing and developing, and now they are going through the process of building another property, and there's no flagging of that at all. So these individuals are just building at one. We have all their issues there. They finish that, in 3 years' time, and then they start out again somewhere else, and then it's the same course of action. Do we start off with stop works there? That's one issue. Another issue that we're really having is we're encouraging all of the constituents to call 311, to email, but the violations have already occurred once they've made those calls and once they've done those emails. And so it appears that no one is doing anything, because when whatever violation is taking place, there's no immediate fix, and even if there's no immediate fix, there's also not a follow-up afterwards. For example, I've talked about 1835. There's also 1812 H Place, a new development that I know that all of the constituents there have called a million times because of blocking of the alleyway, leaving equipment in public space at night. They also are working sometimes to 9:30 at night. And I've even gone over before and told them that they're in violation. So when I've done that and then I followed up with 311, the next morning, there's no one that comes out and at least acknowledges, we received the complaint, and we're putting you all on notice. So I think that if we could just at least kind of do something about that, it would be helpful. And I do appreciate you acknowledging that, the ANC is kind of like the ears and eyes on the ground, because we try to do that. But it is very, very difficult to do it when, you've already said this, but when some of the staff just kind of look at us as, okay, this is just an ANC, I don't really have to get back to them, because I will tell you, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but there's a couple of individuals that I have emailed and phone called, and I have not gotten one response back from them. And I don't try to come from the approach of like belittling and hammering down. I think you do more with honey than anything. So I try to build relationships. And also, I don't think every developer is bad. So I go and talk to the developers over here as well and let them know, if you're being harassed by the community, you can let me know. I'm an ally for you as well. We want to find a place for everyone to get along, and we do this the right way.
Amen. Yeah.
That's my same approach with government.
Yeah, much appreciated. And before I say anything, I just want to thank you, because my mother always wanted to have a doctor in the family, and she's going to be very happy. But no, I appreciate that stance, and I do think that, I think you're kind of highlighting illegal construction and those, after hours and doing work outside of the permits. Another area where it's obviously a heavy focus for me. We also continue to work on, we don't have people that are waiting to run out to inspect. And it's an area of vulnerability, frankly, that when we get an illegal construction call, and there's a couple of tools that I think can help, and we have to work with you to continue to improve this stuff. Time-stamped photographs, things like that, videos. I've done them myself, where it actually gives us some proof, and we can, and it enables us to be able to follow through better. And I think that, it's an area that we just frankly have to get better at. And let me say that I'm pretty proud of our account managers and our community outreach folks, which is an area of kind of organizational infrastructure that we're working to strengthen, because I really believe, the inspectors are, they're often out in the field. They're maybe stretched a bit thin. Our account managers are kind of our internal communication apparatus. And I want to make sure that you all are connected to our account managers group. So we'll get back with the right names on that. And again, you just email me, and I'll make sure that people get back in touch. And we're just going to keep working with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Look forward to talking.
Thank you.
Okay, Director Hanlon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You answered a lot of our direct questions on buildings, particularly. We do appreciate the presentation information on the budget. Some of us on the commission are not. And
I wanted, Commissioner, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just saw something come up in the chat, and I actually want to make sure. I actually don't think calling 311 is the ideal way to notify us. dob.dc.gov. It gets directly into our portal. 311 introduces a time lag. We can be more responsive when you go directly through our portal. So the note says, I've uploaded timestamp photos repeatedly into 311. And in some cases, the tickets are closed without any progress being shown. So I can't speak to what happened there, but I would ask you to use dob.dc.gov. And if there's a flaw in that system, we'll work on fixing it. But let's stick there, because I think we can work faster through it.
Perfect.
Forgive me for interrupting.
No, you're fine, Director. You're fine. Just for the sake of time, I don't see any other questions for the Director in the chat. Commissioner McCollum, Fumi Williams does have a question for you in the chat if you want to answer that one directly, regarding one of the properties on 19th Street. But other than that, Director, we'll definitely follow up with some additional items if needed, and look forward to seeing how this budget turns out.
Thank you. And if there are questions, we'll get a copy of the chat so we can follow up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your night.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Okay. For the public, going off the agenda, we're still trying to get MPD to join us tonight, but we'll be moving forward with the agenda. And we have the council member's office here, and we actually have the Director of Constituent Services joining us tonight, Mr. Oliver Stout.
Hello, everyone. I'm Oliver from the Ward 5 Council Office of Zachary Parker. I'm outside right now. I was at the Arboretum meeting and they kicked me out. So if you see me swinging, it's because I'm trying to get the mosquitoes off me. But outside of that, I think that Director Hanlon had went over pretty much the budget, the FY26 budget. Of course, the council member is grateful that the mayor avoided furloughs and cuts in the FY25 supplemental budget, but he is also deeply concerned about the proposed cuts to countless vital services in her FY26 proposal at the expense of headline grabbing developments. Also, the council member does have a vision for the budget for all of us. I can drop the link to that for you guys. Also, we also encourage neighbors to submit testimony during this budget oversight and join these hearings, whether it's testifying or writing and submitting testimonies. Outside of that, we have updates, changes to the Metro bus. So Metro Bus's Better Bus Network will begin this month on June 29th. So we encourage neighbors to prepare by viewing their system map and engaging with their trip planning tools. And if you guys have any questions, you could feel free to reach out to our office. We've worked on the Better Bus task force, and we have our deputy chief of staff and our communications director who actually know just about everything in regards to the changes with Metro. So you guys could feel free to reach out to our office if you need any help with that. The reason why I'm actually here is to give you guys updates as far as public safety. As we know, in the Trinidad area, or just 5D mainly, it has been a number of incidents that have occurred. We have had a walkthrough, and not too long after that walkthrough, violence occurred again on our Trinidad streets. What we are doing is we're having a follow-up meeting, and it'll be on Monday, June 16th, and we'll be joined by the OAG's office, as well as MPD, of course, our commissioner, Salvador, and we're just going to be working on action steps that we can take, as well as working together to try to find solutions to the acts of violence within the neighborhood. I would also like to update neighbors is that I believe our outreach team, MPD's outreach team, they connected and had a meeting today with the violence interrupters, and the violence interrupters are going to be doing their walkthrough tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, 1 o'clock tomorrow. So they have the 72-hour response, and their goal is to try to, be hands-on and try to stop anything or as far as retaliation within the community. So outside of that, we also have another public safety meeting that we'll be having, which is in Trinidad again. And this is going to be in concerns to Orrin and Neal, as well as Staples, as there's been gun violence there as well. That will be on June 24th, and that'll be at 6:30. So both of them are Monday, June 16th, as well as June 24th, both around the same time, 6 o'clock. One will be at Trinidad Rec and the other will be via Zoom. So you guys can reach out to our office and we'll share information to that, or you can reach out to your council members. I mean, not your council members, I mean your commissioners. Outside of that, just some updates specifically as far as ANC 5D. On Friday, March 30th, we received information that both elevators were down in the building at Delta Towers, which is 808 Bladensburg Road, which was preventing residents from with disabilities from being able to navigate freely. In response to that, what our office did was, of course, we contacted the tenants who initially gave us the complaint. We also tried to contact management, and we sent an email to management that day. The next day after that, we also put in a DOB request. But the day after that was Saturday, and that was also the day where we had the beautification. That was the beautification community meeting, and we conducted that and did a pop-up visit at Delta Towers where we connected with management, as well as the president of the Residents Association. And we took pictures and we just found some things that we can escalate. And we're still working on ensuring that they get the equipment, get the elevator fixed, as well as any of the maintenance issues that they have brought to our attention. And one of those is the trash room has had a number of issues as far as not being cleaned properly, or, and those things. Outside of that, we also were, Education Hill was another one. The Two Rivers PTO, they reached out to our office regarding the complaints about construction vehicles and their activity exiting the Spin Guard site during pickups and drop-offs, which is basically like the heaviest time where it's heavily used by pedestrians and kids, and it can kind of, of course, put them in danger. So what we did is we escalated that to the senior project manager, and from that, in response to it, they put up new signage. The contractor installed at the site, and it's basically warning drivers the restrictions on their deliveries. Also, it was the signage was on that 8th Street, well, that fake 8th Street part, which is basically implying do not come there from do not have deliveries from 7:30 to 9 a.m. These measures also included for the North Gate, which they locked during these hours. And also they enhanced the communication with suppliers and imposed fines for any company vehicles that fail to abide by these policies as well. Outside of that, that's about it from us. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Thank you, Mr. Stout. Was there any questions from the commissioners or the public? Okay, other than that, I would recommend anyone involved in or interested in seeing safer streets to join us at our upcoming meetings at the rec center and virtually with the council member's office these next upcoming Mondays. We'd love to see some more ANCs there, as a lot of us are involved in Trinidad matters particularly. So looking forward to working collaboratively on these efforts as the summer's here. The summer's here, everybody, so we know what that means. Thank you, Mr. Stout, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
No problem.
Okay, perfect. So on our end, we can see it, but I know the public can't. There's about 6 Melissa Pegrams in the attendee list, and my understanding when Zoom does that is because multiple people join exactly at the same second, and that's why some of them pick up another person's name. So will the real Melissa Pegram please use the raise your hand function so we can turn you into a panelist to go ahead and start your portion of tonight's meeting? And I believe also Christine also is presenting tonight. Are you also there? Let's see. Saw you there earlier. Let me see. Ms. Pegram, you can go ahead and commence once you are ready.
I do have my team also on the call. I'm sorry, Schimberg Levinas and DGS, as well as CADCON Construction, because they will also be a part of my presentation.
Sure, if they want to use the raise your hand function, we can elevate them. They might be some of these Melissa Pegrams. Okay, let's see.
Let's see, I've also.
Sorry, get some more folks here.
You see Derek with DGS. I think we're just missing Marco and Ali.
Okay, we added some folks, so if you wanna,
Hi, this is Ali
Okay.
from the chat.
Ali,
Yeah, I'm
I think
actually logged in as Melissa. So
you might have had the same link. You can change your name on your end if possible.
just give me a second to figure it out. Thank you.
I'm going to, if you don't mind, go ahead and share my screen.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. There we go.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. No, move this tab bar. Oh, forgive me. I haven't used Zoom in a while. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing my team and I to join the ANC meeting today. My name is Melissa Pegram. I am with DCPS. I am a project specialist overseeing the Wheatley CDC Addition project. Thank you, ANC Commissioner Anna, for also allowing us to be a part of this meeting as well. I know we only have, I think, about 5 to 8 minutes, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. Today, we'll just kind of go over the project, where we are in construction, some design updates, and then obviously we'll end the presentation with any questions, any clarifying questions that you guys may have, as well as next steps. So just quickly, project overview for the addition. Location 1299 Neal Street, Northeast Washington, D.C. in Ward 5. Our projected student enrollment for the CDC edition is 20 preschoolers, 8 infants, and 12 toddlers. This is a new construction addition. Our project budget is $5.2 million for the new addition. And again, I will be your point of contact on the DCPS end, and I also have my team, Derek Riley, Daniel Nebhut with DGS, who are also on this call tonight, as well as Schimberg, Levinas, and CADCON Construction, who are our design build team. So as a part of the Birth to 3 initiative, Wheatley will receive a 4,500 square foot child development center for infants and toddlers ages 0 to 3 that will be managed by a community-based organization. The CDC, or the Child Development Center, will occupy a new addition to the current school. It will consist of 2 classrooms, a welcome center, food prep area, a laundry room, and more. This is just kind of an overview of our ed spec, which kind of highlights the rooms, again, that the CDC edition will be receiving. An infant room, a toddler room, a food prep room, a welcome center, director's office for the CDC, and a laundry room. Where are we in the whole design process? So we are currently in our design development phase. We finished our concept design phase, which was our first phase, as well as our second phase, which was schematic. And now we are currently in design, our DD phase, and then we'll be transitioning into our construction documents and starting construction late this summer. Okay, so DCPS engagement, I just kind of wanted to quickly give an overview. Typically, DCPS, we like to engage through our FIT team. So we have a FIT team that we like to engage with, which is usually consists of the school, a few members of the community. We also like to be a part of community meetings, as well as ANC meetings, and then we also will update through our DCPS facilities website and our specifically our Wheatley CDC project page. In this meeting, we will be uploading, well, I also have this presentation, as well as previous transcripts and previous recordings. That's also on our DCPS webpage. So anticipated meeting structure, we had quite a few meetings this year. As you can see on the screen, we had quite a few FIT meetings. We had a community meeting yesterday, and today is our first ANC meeting, which we're really excited about. And hopefully this will not be the first and the last, and we'll continue to be able to join future ANC meetings and give you guys updates on where we are in the progress of the CDC edition. I will say that we are taking, this will be the last public facing meeting for the school year, as well as with the community. And then we will re-engage again when school starts in late August, early September. Okay, for the design build team, I'm going to allow Ali with CADCON to kind of give an overview of where we are in construction.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. So as Melissa explained about the overall of the project, I'm gonna go over the timeline, and then our designer is gonna take over. So the construction overview timeline at this moment, we're looking at mobilization during August and July due to the permitting. And the mobilization, after mobilization, basically the demolition is going to start, and a couple months after, we're going to start the new construction, which is going to continue till July of 26. Thank you. Okay, this is the overall site plan of Whitley Elementary School. The area that's highlighted in red is the construction area that's on the plan south. Yes, exactly. Thank you. If you can zoom in a little for everybody to see better. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna first start with the site logistics. As you see, the again construction area is at the intersection, and then we have the dumpster, the construction. Sorry. Construction trailers and temporary restroom for the construction workers. Also, at the other end of the map, you see the route for the school operations for drop off and pick off. That's going to be basically used during the construction. Also on the other side, you see two colors, blue and yellow. That's basically our drop off options for material delivery to the school. Thank you. This slide shows the traffic control plan for the pedestrians. So during the construction, the entrance to the private alley is going to be shut down due to safety. So we will have signs installed on the streets as we get close to this area for all vehicles to slow down, and then a reroute for pedestrians to cross the street and come back on the same sidewalk. Thank you. Thank you. As I was explaining earlier, these are the two routes that basically going to be used for the material delivery. And also we have a private alley behind our construction site that's going to be used for school operation drop-offs and pickups. Thank you. So this shows a floor plan that we're currently in progress of design for the new construction is highlighted in green, and then there are existing space that we're utilizing for this addition to be used, which are shown in purple colors. Those areas will be constructed during the school breaks and the summertime. Thank you. So this is the second floor of the same building. Again, the green area is the new construction area, and the purple shows the existing space that's going to be constructed during the school break and summertime. Thank you. Hours of construction, the job site is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. If any after hours work will be required for any reason, the work will be scheduled on Saturdays, which requires the after hours permit, which will be contained prior to any work. Thank you. So currently at the area that we're gonna have the construction started, there are a few trees that will be fenced to be protected during the construction and removed it and done. We're gonna have the periodic public cleaning on the streets, alley areas that basically around our construction site to make sure the community won't have any problem with the dust or anything from the construction site.
Okay, thank you, Ali. I'm not quite sure if Marco,
Marco is on the call. He was trying to fix his login, I guess. I'm assuming he has the same login as yours, like basically.
okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and present to the best of my ability for his slides. We'll go ahead and start with the first floor plan. So again, this is a 2-floor CDC addition project. On the first floor, again, we'll have a toddler classroom, an infant classroom, our director's office, and a food prep workroom. Our main entrance is here. I don't know if you guys see my cursor, as well as exiting out of the CDC is here as well. We also have a CDC play area, which we'll show in a later slide. And then also to a corridor that connects to the existing school. The second floor, this floor includes an area to return the replaced classroom. So there is an existing classroom that we are using as an infant classroom. And so we are returning that classroom back to the school and putting that specials contained K-2 classroom on the second floor, as well as giving them a resource room and restrooms as well. This is an image of just the roof floor plan and just the mechanical HVAC equipment, the new HVAC equipment that the CDC will be receiving. We also have skylights to provide an abundance of natural lighting for the CDC, which we'll also be able to see show in the renderings. So elevations, so I think the design team did a pretty good job of trying to match as close as possible to the current school. The CDC edition will have a brick finish comparable to this, just to have some sort of alignment to the educational campus and not be too much of a contrast difference. These are some enlarged plans of just the toddler classroom and the infant classroom. We are providing fixed furniture, so built-in cabinetry, again, making sure that they have restrooms, storage rooms for any additional equipment or any additional furniture that needs to be stored away. So. And again, this is the enlarged plan for the special contained K-2 classroom that we are returning and giving back to the school. And that, again, that's on the second floor. Another large plan of the resource room that's on the second floor as well. This is the enlarged CDC play area that we are giving the CDC. It's not huge, but it meets our EdSpec requirements as well as meets the CDC requirements for the toddlers and the infants. And then this is just an exterior renderings, these next couple of slides. This is a rendering from the southwest corner, showing the entrance to the CDC. I don't know if you guys see that ramp, but that is the main entrance into the CDC. And then exiting out of the CDC, we'll also show that rendering as well. And again, this is of course, the existing school. Another elevation rendering of the CDC. Again, this is the main entrance, and these are the skylights that we talked about in the previous slide as well, and this private alley as well. Southeast corner rendering, so exiting out of that CDC addition. We also have fencing in place to secure and make sure that the students as well as the staff are safe. And so, yeah, we have that in place as well. South elevation rendering of the CDC. Interior design palettes, I'm going to go through this really quickly because I know we're kind of over time. So we're keeping the CDC edition kind of a neutral color base, nothing too bright outside of what's being shown in the restrooms. So you're going to see a lot of white walls, white tiling, neutral flooring within the CDC. So I'll just kind of go through these next couple of slides so you can kind of get an idea of just the interior palette for the CDC. This is the director's office. Again, neutral colors, toddler room, infant room, the special contained K through 2 classroom that we're giving back to the school, resource and huddle room. And this is a rendering of the corridor attached to the existing school. And then again, the only pop of colors that we have are our adult and student restrooms, where we are putting yellow and green wall tile to kind of help with identifying the restrooms that for adults and the restrooms for students. And so, yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank you so much for, again, for allowing us to join tonight and present. And then I guess if you guys have questions, we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Pegram. This presentation was took a while to get to this point, but we're happy that you presented all this information. Thank you for the visuals. That was very important to us because we like to see exactly what you're planning and hopefully bringing into the community. Commissioner Roblin, this is in your single member district. Do you have any questions or comments on this project?
I'm sorry, I didn't do the reading that I meant to do. Could you explain just in general, like, why is there an infant room? I know that's not part of BCTS, and can you just give the general basics about the purpose of the whole FIT changes? Thanks.
You said FIT changes or?
Whatever, no, the changes for Wheatley.
Okay. Again, yeah, this is a part of the initiative for the birth to 3 initiative, mayor initiative to have a CDC in this ward. So they kind of found it fitting to place the CDC edition next to the Wheatley Education Campus. That was a decision that obviously was above me, but I do know that that is a part of the Birth to 3 initiative from the mayor to include a child development center, and they found a perfect location next to Wheatley. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. Yeah. Is it the only one in the ward then? This is
I was
the one
going to
for
ask
Ward
that question.
I'm not sure if this is the only one in the ward. I'm actually on the borough's modernization project, and I know that we have a CDC a part of that modernization as well, and I know that's also in Ward 5. So I would not say Wheatley, the Wheatley CDC is the only one that's receiving the CDC, but I'm right now I'm only familiar with boroughs is receiving a CDC, and Wheatley is receiving a CDC. as of right now.
Thank you.
Commissioner Roblin asked my question if there was another site that you currently are working at or established with this similar project style that you have coming for Wheatley. And just to quickly bring it up again, how long is this project going to take? And you did discuss some of the main effects of what we might see in the neighborhood, but in terms of the timeframes that we're looking at, what is that again?
Hey, so we're looking at 1 year. We're starting this summer, hopefully, summer of 2025, late in the summer, and then we'll have a year of construction, and our substantial completion will be in the summer of 2026, gearing up for our opening in the school year of 2026. So
Perfect.
1 year.
Got it. Was there any other questions from the commission or the public? Don't see anything in the Q&A.
How many infants and how many for the whole CDC? How many children can you have at tops?
So right now, we're building out the CDC for 8 infants and 12 toddlers, 20 preschoolers. So that is our capacity as of right now for the CDC.
Perfect. No other questions from the commission or the public. Ms. Pegram, to you and your team, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate all the information. And if us as an ANC need to get in contact with any issues that might arise while this year-long project starts and goes on, do you know the best point of contact who that would be?
I will be your point of contact, and I'm
Okay.
actually going to leave my email in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Best of luck to receiving all that in the upcoming year. But being that you were upfront with a lot of the project, we hope that you won't be dealing with too much from us on our end if we do see issues.
Okay. And thank you so much.
Of course. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Best of luck.
Right.
Okay, with that being said, we're moving on with the agenda. We're a little bit over time, which is fine. We can make up for this. Do we still have Miss Dupree here for the Carver Langston Family Success Center? They might have needed to step away. I don't see them there. With that being said, I will move on with the agenda. If Mr. Dupree does join us, I would love for them to speak because they have some great resources for the community as we're entering the summer while school's out. With the agenda, we do have consent calendar items, and for those that are still on the call and not familiar with consent calendar items, these are items that we vote collectively to approve. If there's any commissioners that are not in approval of any of these items, they're more than happy to not consent to this, and we can break it down and vote one by one. But if you have the agenda in front of you, we have our timesheets for our admin personnel, Andy Vaught, our social media program manager, Robert Hoffman, a simple proposal to allocate funds from our budget to use $100 for every in-person public meeting in 2025, and also the payment of the ONC hybrid tech invoice that we received from the month of May, which is also linked in the agenda for folks to see. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items for that are on the consent calendar. With that being said, I move that we approve these consent calendar items as presented to the public tonight. And can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second. Second by Commissioner Rowland first. Do we need a discussion for any of the items?
Yes, just
Go ahead.
quick discussion for the admin. One thing I didn't check, and I think we need to confirm, what was the cap for the month?
They are capped at 750.
Okay, so if that's the case, currently and right now, based on the May timesheet for the admin, it's at 756.
756.
Yeah, so we would need to somehow amend to pay
$6.
for that. Yeah, $6. So
Okay.
just a point of clarification, just so that everything is square.
Understood. So we'll approve this at 750 since it is capped at 750, and we'll let Andy know that $6 could not be approved based on the agreement that we have through their employment. So we'll be more mindful. We'll let them know that they should be more mindful of making sure they're meeting that mark correctly, so we're not in this situation.
Can we?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm sorry. Can we not make some type of amendment to the cap for this one time? Because I'd hate for folks to not be paid for what they worked. So, I mean, by doing that, we're actually not satisfying labor laws. So I'd like either we carry that over into the next month and they work less next month, but we need to pay them for the $6 as well.
And just to confirm, Commissioner
100%
McCray, it's $6.
Say that one more time.
It's just $6, correct?
Yeah, so the 28 hours times the 27-hour pay rate put them at 756.
I have 14 hours for Andy's timesheet.
For the month of May?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I just opened it from, hold it tight. Unless I'm looking at something different.
You might be adding both of them.
Hold tight. When you all open it, when everyone opens it, what do you see? I'm just trying to confirm that I'm seeing the same thing.
Let me.
And maybe it's this bottom portion that's just not updated, which could be the case. If 14 hours, this portion right here is what I was more so fixated on, as opposed to the top portion. But if that's the case, if it's 14 hours, it fits the bill. But
Oh, I see. I was looking at the bottom. Total 28 hours. Oh, I think it's adding that 14 one more time. So let's just, if we remove that. There you go.
okay. All right. Okay.
Thanks for catching that.
Just 114.
Yeah, once I've seen it. Yeah, not 28, it was 14. So then yes, I'm cool with it. Just wanted to confirm that before we approved anything.
So 378 for Andy Vought's time total and 311 for Robert Hoffman's.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, if
that is
that
what I
ever,
am tracking.
Perfect.
I think that, like, if that ever happens, we can definitely, of course, pay them. Like, it would just be carried over to the next month, or like Commissioner McCollum said, and make an amendment. But I just want to say, I think absolutely we need to pay them if that happens.
I agree.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Motions on the floor. It was second by, who was it second by? One blank on who seconded this motion. Commissioner Roblin. All in favor of the consent calendar items we approved, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed
Aye.
say nay.
Aye.
And any abstentions? Okay, all the ayes carry on that one for the commissioners. Thank you. With that being said, those are our consent calendar items. We also have the meat and potatoes of tonight's meeting, which is our voting action items. I'm gonna elevate Ms. Fowler, who's here to present on BZA case 21315 in Commissioner McCollum's single member district. If we have anyone here to present on Fenwick Street, please use the raise your hand function so we can elevate you also to panelists. And I'll be presenting on the Flatline Boxing Community Mural Beautification Project proposal. So looks like we're almost there to the finish line, everyone. Okay, Ms. Fowler, thank you for joining us tonight. We got to speak a little bit at our last zoning committee meeting on your project, and look forward to seeing you again and present for tonight's meeting.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I did present the plans to the committee, the Planning and Zoning Committee, at the last meeting, and I'm happy to share them again. Here we go. Sharing my screen. Can you see my plans?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we are requesting your support tonight for basically a small rear screen porch. And the reason that we need your support is for the rear yard setback. So currently we're complying with everything else on the zoning regs, including lot occupancy. The current lot occupancy is 39.3%, and we're only going to 48.7% while the maximum is 60. The current rear yard is 28 feet 1 3/4 inch. And we're reducing that to 18 feet 7 3/4 inch, where 20 feet is the minimum requirement. So we're really just reducing that rear yard, and that's the piece of relief that we're requesting. You can see photos here of the front of the house and then the existing back of the house. There's an existing concrete patio slab at the back that they would like to enclose. Some additional photos from the last time we had snow. This is the alley, kind of looking from 18th Street back towards the back of the house. And you can see the fence line here. And then some more photos of the backyard. And then you can see they are kind of next to the buildings on, is that Benning Road? Benning Road, that are, I think, slated for development at this point. This is a site plan. It's a kind of an oddly shaped lot. So it's wider at the front, 27.22, and then it tapers back and kind of has a funny jog at the back. So we're hoping to just kind of build out 9.5 feet, and then the full width of the back of the house. And this is where you can see the 18 feet 7 and change rear setback that we're requesting. This is the demolition plan. So the existing slab here, existing yard, and there's a tree that we're protecting in this with this project, and then the existing fence that we'll be modifying. And then this is the first floor plan. So pretty straightforward screen and porch. We have high screens on the north side, and then we have screens on the back wall, but we do have a solid wall along the alley for privacy and security. Sorry, and then this is the roof plan. And then these are the elevation views. So you can see this is the view facing the yard. We just have full screens, and then there's the fence lines. And then the side views, this is the south elevation. You can see the solid wall with hardy plank siding against the alley. And then on the other side, you have siding with high screens. And the height of this is max 10'2" at the peak. And then it's about 8.5 feet at the lower part. So those are the plans we have, pretty straightforward. We have the homeowners, I think they're on here if you have questions for them, but we did get support letter from 752 18th, which is the adjacent neighbor. And also we have, they mailed, this is the receipt, so it's huge, but mailed plans to the property owners of the buildings on Benning. And I believe they made some other outreach this past week, and have a note from Miss Kendra Barnes, who is at 760 18th Street, who said that they have their blessing to do the porch. So I think they've done their best to try to reach out to more neighbors since the last time we met. And obviously, if you have any questions, they can answer that. But I'll leave it for questions.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Ms. Fowler. I'll
Thank
allow
you.
Commissioner McCullum to speak. This is in his single member district, and then I'll allow other commissioners to also chime in.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler, for being here and for the family. So the wall that's not in the alley, the one that's separating from the neighbors, how high will that fence be?
The fence, I believe, let me see the
I think you said there's one
picture.
side that'll be a solid concrete wall, and then the side that's closest to the neighbors will be a fence. How is it
So
going
they have a current privacy fence. I believe it's probably 6 feet tall, something like that. So if you look at that side view, the screens are going to be kind of right above the height of that fence, right around that height, but they're 5 feet up above the floor level. So they're 2 feet screens and it's really just to get some cross ventilation because you have a screen porch and you only have the screens on the back. It's just going to be a little bit sticky. But again, that neighbor has seen the plans and has submitted support letter for that.
Certainly. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a request for like a 10-foot privacy fence or something like that on.
No. And we're not replacing the fence. We're just going to be like removing the sections where we're building the addition and then just, reattaching it. So.
Well, I want to say that I do appreciate you all. I do support this 100%. You came forward. I actually saw these plans in my email as well. So I do agree that you all have taken every step that you needed to get the support of the community and from us. I think this is very tasteful. It's fitting. And I'm going to ask my colleagues if they will support it. They will do what they would like to do, but I'm fully for this. And I thank you for coming with a great presentation and for you all's effort and outreach.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Appreciate that.
Great due diligence. Was there any other questions from the commission or the public? I don't see anything in the Q&A right now. Was someone speaking? No. Okay. Okay. With that being said, I'll place a motion on the floor for this project. I move that we support this project, BZA case. Get the number. I move that we support BZA case number 21315 as presented to the public tonight. Can we get a second? Can I get a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McCullum. We'll do a roll call to make sure that we get the official vote. 5D01.
Yes.
5D02.
Yes.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Yes.
5D05 is me, yes. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07.
Yes.
5D09.
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. The motion carries. Ms. Fowler will be in touch to make sure you get the proper paperwork for this project and get that submitted to the BZA.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you. You have a great night.
You too.
Also to the owners. Okay, perfect. With that being said, Commissioner Rhodes, do we have Ms. Moldenhauer or anyone here for the project?
No, we still have to meet and get an understanding about the project. So no, they're not here.
Okay, I know we placed them on there just in case, but looks like we'll have a shorter meeting tonight, which I think is fine with every folks. Just updating this. Okay. With that being said, we only have one item left for to vote on. It is this proposal that I'm bringing to the commission for a beautification project at Flatline Boxing and Community Center. The link is in the link to the actual proposals in the agenda. I'll be presenting a PowerPoint, which pretty much summarizes the proposal and discusses a little bit about what we want to do specifically at Flatline, which is at 1216 Mount Olivet Road. I know this might sound weird, but I typically don't use the share screen for a PowerPoint, so bear with me, everyone, as I try to figure this out. Okay, can y'all see the PowerPoint? Sorry, I have like all the Zoom stuff still here also. Okay, is it full screen? Yep. Okay, yeah, I did it. Perfect. Okay, so this is again Flatline Boxing Community Center's beautification project. For those that might not know, Flatline Boxing is the little hole in the wall boxing gym off of Mount Olivet Road. Mr. Salim is the owner of the boxing gym and has been there for quite a while now since returning since becoming a returning citizen, coming out of the system in jail. Once being an ex-gangbanger himself in Trinidad, he now acts as a community pillar to keep the youth out of some of those cycles of criminal activity and violence. And from the outside of the building, you wouldn't notice it much because it literally looks like a hole in the wall. And after seeing some changes in how the OANC is permitting ANC to use funds, I am submitting this proposal to get beautification done to that area. So pretty much the scope of work here for this proposal is beautifying a space plagued by violence with a new mural and vegetation, aka greenery, shrubs, flowers. The purpose here is to strengthen the community revitalization in that area and really harp on the public safety efforts. A lot of y'all know that part of South Ward 5 here in 5D is plagued by violence. We just had a few guys get gunned down yesterday. And it's not something that we're strangers to, sadly, in this specific hotbed of the trenches of everything. And somehow Mr. Salim is still able to hold a space for community to be able to convene there, get healthy, get fit, and get right, as he typically says it. This proposal is really here to support a long-standing community anchor. It's definitely a space for the youth that I would say typically don't find their place at our typical rec centers. These are kids that tend to be brought up in a different type of lifestyle that kind of has created a certain grit that only so few can help manage and polish in a way. And you might not think those are the words for a boxing gym, the word polish, but somehow Salim is able to create some fine individuals out of some rough situations. And I think this proposal will really help broaden ANC 5D's community impact and engagement, especially when it comes to public safety. So introduction about the boxing gym itself. Flatline Boxing and Community Center is located at 1216 Mount Olivet Road. It served for a pillar of hope and transformation in the community for over 2 decades. It was originally called Tony's Boxing Gym after Mr. Tony bought the space from an old garage slash mechanic shop. They were able to build out the space and turn it into a boxing gym. I would say it's a ragtag boxing gym. I go to this boxing gym. It is a very, very welcoming space for folks that want to really change their lives. And being that it's built a strong level of trust and respect in the older community, particularly, not older as in our seniors, but older standing community, long-standing natives in the neighborhood, is just provided really an alternative option to target the youth that are getting encompassed in this violence and criminal activity. So there's different forms of mentorship, physical training, and life skill development happening at a boxing gym that you typically won't see in other spaces. The mural beautification portion, pretty much this is really providing some beauty to a hotbed of criminal activity. We see violence, we see drug usage, we see a lot of crime occurring specifically off of this strip of Mount Olivet. And I think this is an opportunity for ANC 5D to really work at beautifying a space where we could try to reduce this impact and neglect through art. Promoting this community police partnership also with the 5th District by having them become more available or tapped into community and seeing if we could change ways of only just seeing flashing police lights and bodies and blood on the ground. So the impact here would be pretty massive if we're able to do this project, because it also is showcasing that this type of hope exists in this type of turmoil. So this proposal also would permit a commemoration portion for ANC 5D to commemorate the mural once it's been completed, and allow us to celebrate new beginnings, specifically in that strip of ANC 5D. So budget breakdown, the cost for this proposal is totaling to be $10,000. I know in the past, ANC 5D has spent $12,000, I believe, for the mural that we have in our community room, which is a beautiful mural that showcased all different portions, aka neighborhoods of ANC 5D. But I believe this breakdown pretty much explains why that cost is leading to 10,000, because it's not just a mural that we're talking about here. Obviously, the artist for this mural needs to be compensated for their labor and materials, which we totaled at $8,000. And I also budgeted in this proposal potential need for any rental equipment to make sure that we can get the entirety of the wall. The wall is 40 by 70 feet. It's a pretty big wall. So sometimes that also involves some additional type of equipment just to make sure you get every crevice, nook, and cranny on the front facade of the building. I budgeted in $1,000 to beautify that space with planters and shrubs also. That spot, it is directly in front of a bus stop. We do have some issues of illegal dumping and disrespect of littering on that portion of the street. And DPW in the last 2 years has removed our public litter can that we had there. So this is an opportunity for ANC 5D to use its funds to bring in a little bit of beauty through greenery and shrubs also. And also saving, there should be an extra zero there, it's not 50. Saving another $500 towards the commemoration portion of the event, which would include videography, photography, and audio equipment, so ANC 5D can effectively commemorate the space once it's completed. So adding a zero to that last cost at the bottom, this is totaling at $10,000. The selected muralist is a locally known muralist. They've done a lot of work in Northeast DC and different portions of the city, actually. They've done work on 8th Street here in Trinidad and also parts of east of the river. His name is Christopher Lynch. You can check out his Instagram account, which has a lot more art available at Lynch Got Lost, Lynch_got_lost. And again, a local artist at the DMV that does a lot of work. And since I know they have standing in Trinidad with work that they've done at Jabo's Compact Store right off of Montello Avenue. And this is right across east of the river off of Minnesota Avenue. This project right here was specifically for showcasing something towards ending gun violence. That was done through city government specifically. But the 2 photos that you see right here were done with local businesses at Jabo's Compact Store right off of Montello Avenue. And you can easily see those today if you're in the neighborhood. So he's done work in Northeast, he's done work in 5D, and previously lived in Trinidad before moving back into Northwest. So ideas for the mural, it's still a work in progress. Majority of the time when you work with artists, they give you renditions, but you, just like we kind of mentioned earlier, we want to make sure folks are getting paid for their work. So they give us some ideas of what these renditions can look like. Here we have some local and legendary boxers We also want to add Muhammad Ali into the mix because the first person you see here on the screen is an old photo of Mr. Salim himself. And I think his work should be recognized on the mural itself. Here on the far right, we have Clarence Vinson, which, fun fact, he is a native to the Trinidad neighborhood, and he is a bronze medal medalist. He won us the bronze, representing the United States of America at the Olympics in Sydney. So Trinidad is home of Olympians, and he goes by Champ, and Champ still goes to Salim's boxing gym. You can see them every week there. He's still training there to this day. He represented us back in 2000 at Sydney and got us a medal. And behind him is another well-known boxer, a favorite of Mr. Salim's also, Salvador Sanchez. And pretty much we want to showcase some of these local legends, these local heroes, with the emphasis of picking up gloves and not guns. You might have heard me say it before. If there's tension in the streets and you want to handle it, I'd rather you use your fists than your guns, because we can stop a fight, but we can't stop a bullet. So the main emphasis of the mural would be to focus on some of these local legends and national icons in the boxing world, but also focusing on the need to end the violence, end the gun violence specifically. So these are very rough sketches of what Mr. Lynch is looking at of doing, showcasing obviously that this is a boxing gym, but also giving space to share some of the Trinidad culture, place a little bit of the Trinidad natives on the mural in some sort of way, while also highlighting these boxers and the need of just taking your attention out some way else other than picking up metal. Here, just a conclusion of what this proposal is really about. It's a modest investment of 10,000, not 9,000. Will yield a significant and long-lasting returns for Flatline Community Center and the broader ANC 5G area. In funding this mural project, we not only uplift a trusted community institution, but we also demonstrate our commission's commitment to actionable, visible public safety and quality life improvements, which are definitely needed off of Mount Olivet. We do have that big project being built right next to this boxing gym. And I think this is a good opportunity to marry in with some of this new development coming in to showcase that there's a standing community here, and we want to see higher quality of life for us. So again, this is ANC 5D's opportunity to really invest in community and just see a stronger standing of what we can do. This is a bare bones look at the building itself. It's again 40 by 70. It's a pretty big wall, and that's why the cost will be at the number that they're budgeted at. The front facade essentially is being donated by Mr. Salim to do this project. And the only ask that I have outside of the just general proposal would just to be to make sure that we approve this expense coming directly out of our budget. So pretty much the need to not change our finances anyway, but just amend our budget to moving $10,000 directly into the expenses of this approved project if we approve it. So the ask is not that complicated. I think it's definitely needed, but I know we haven't spent this much money on beautification in a while, at least since 2020, again, from that last mural project that we did for our community room at 371 Morse. But here I'm open to questions from the commission. I hope that you guys would be interested in investing in this with your, not just with your vote, but also your time for the commemoration. And yeah, looking forward to hearing what folks think and about this. Sorry, I have like a lot of things open. I like to keep that open, but Commissioner Hustler, I think you have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. In principle, I'm supportive. I, being very new, it's hard for me to exactly how this budget relates to other budget expenditures, but in principle, it makes sense. And Jabo's Market is within my SMD, so I appreciated the mural that you noted. I think one thing that'd be helpful for, I've been around the neighborhood for some time, but don't know all the history. It'd be at least I would like to consider having some sort of notation of the various persons that will be in the mural, like the historical connections to the neighborhood. I think would enhance those, heightens and deepens the connection to the particular neighborhood and the community connections.
Like Clarence
I guess that would
Vincent
be an
and other
additional
folks.
cost, but there might be ways to do it that's not, particularly more.
Are you saying like a plaque of some kind, like to note, like highlight, like this is a native of the neighborhood. He represented us at the Olympics and got us, the bronze. Or is that where you're
Yeah,
at?
I feel like something like that. It's just something that came to mind. I had heard you talk about this at our meeting last week and didn't have the thought, but it feels like I didn't know that background, and so it feels like it would be helpful to have some notation so that it doesn't just appear to be a random boxer, which is not
Yeah, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
bad, but it's nice to have the connection.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks for that recommendation. I can definitely follow up with us to make a cost for that in the future, and maybe in July. That's really good. I like that a lot. Commissioner McCray?
Yes. So I am generally supportive of the project, but I always have to ask some just fiscal questions. I know we hired a historian, and I see this $500 cost to support the videography, photography, and the audio equipment. It seems like that would be a little bit of an overlap. Is it possible to have that be a part of some of it seems like there could be some merging with the historian project just a bit with some of these things. I don't know to what extent the historian project will have videography or photography or items like that. So I don't know if we could cut that cost. And let me get to my larger kind of question. I don't know in the past if we have had, like, if we were to duplicate this in all 9 single member districts, we wouldn't necessarily have the funds to do that. And I understand the importance behind beautification, public safety, and I am supportive of the project. But just generally speaking, if we were to do this, let's say we did it in a few other areas as well, like money is meant for the community, it's meant to be spent. So I am supportive, but just in general, just thoughts or comments from others about, like, if we spend this money here, would other folks want this replicated? And the reason I'm asking is just from the fiscal standpoint, do we have funds to support that type of endeavor? So that just kind of just getting a general consensus from a logistical standpoint, and then seeing if we could have some intermingling between the historian project, because I ideally would love to see the videography and photography even expanded for the historian project. So if there could be some more intermingling between the two, if that makes sense, but just wanted to get those thoughts out there. But I am supportive. I don't want my comments to seem not supportive. I am supportive, but I don't think your kind of questions.
Yeah, I don't think your questions are against the project. I think because we're talking about this, these are questions that come up. So I understand that, or at least I would love to see this done in every single member district, but I know for a fact not every single member district has a community institution such as this, and let alone has violence surrounding a community institution such as this. So I don't know of any in Union Market. I don't know of any in Central Trinidad. I don't know any, in 5GO, 5GO8, 5GO6, so this is a unique space where it's in the middle of a lot of violence, a lot of criminal activity, but yet it still stands to provide some sort of function for the community. And I feel like the community is not fully tapping in unless they're already tapped in. as we know, we have a lot of residents that are moving into 5D that are not connected or can't connect because they're just not aware how to connect. And this space is somehow been in that kind of situation where since you look at it, you wouldn't think it's something other than an old guy and his dog sitting out front. And I know I don't want to say I'm double dipping or tapping into Ivy City here, but this is a space shared by both Ivy City and Trinidad. And I know a lot of longstanding community members know that this place exists and makes a difference. But I can't say that we have this in every single member district to duplicate it, where eventually we'll be like, we don't have enough money to do it. So I know Carver Langston can definitely tap into a proposal such as this because there are spaces there that could definitely make use of beautification. Same thing goes for maybe another portion in South Trinidad. I'm not thinking of anything particularly, but and also Ivy City. I know Ivy City, Commissioner Rose can speak on this, has done a lot of beautification in Ivy City, and there might be another space that's in need, but I just know Salim Abdullah has been a longstanding community member, and it's about time that we recognize their work and support this work because we're losing the battle over here on the north end and in Mount Olivet. And if there's anything that we can do just to bring just a little glimmer, a little shimmer, I think this is the opportunity for ANC 5D to do it. But I totally understand that we want to ensure if this proposal passes that we can replicate it somewhere else without difficulty. And then your second portion was
the 500 commemoration and
yes,
contingency
yes.
for supplies and logistics. In the proposal, I see that it says support videography, photography for community outreach, storytelling, and to kind of document that process.
Yeah.
Because I also would ideally like to see that in the historian project. I don't know if it's written in there as specific, but is that something where the historian project could cover some of those costs and maybe the proposal's 9,500? Just a thought there, since there's a little bit of overlap there with kind of the documentation, the historian perspective of that, or is there a particular person that would do this $500 piece?
No, I like how you addressed that. I think we could scratch off 500 to see if our historian retainer would be able to provide such services. When I was thinking audio equipment, I was thinking about the word is what's the word when you're playing elevated music? There's a certain word for it. Amplified music, amplified noise. Pretty much just be able to speak in that space because it's not really a place where people can easily hear you because it's a busy road and it's not it's not like closed off a little bit where the sound can kind of bounce back. But if these are figures I put together for us to obviously discuss, and if we can shave off some money, I'm entirely okay with that. I typically budget higher because I want us to save money at the end of the day and go under. I mean, that's how typically I've done my ANC finances when it comes to anytime we spend. But I'm entirely fine with reducing it by 500 to see if we can double dip on some of the resources already available in the community and to 5D. Commissioner
Okay,
Rose?
cool. No, those were my questions.
Yeah, the project that's going on next door to Brother Salim's, when are they gonna start with the renovations are they doing the inside of the boxing gym?
This proposal would only permit us to work on the outside of the boxing gym, the outside facade. For us to work on any of the work in the inside, for example, Mr. Salim needs a new front door. We would have to do that through a nonprofit or another organization, and we would have to grant them money to be able to do that because those type of expenses the commission won't likely be able to get approved. We can spend the money, but we'll get dinged and deducted at our next allotment. So being that we had a history of doing that in the past, not particularly with some of us that are on the commission, I'm not trying to make that happen. But there is opportunity for these kind of spaces, these kind of community centers to get us to help them. But we typically need like a third hand in there. So we can get it done through a nonprofit such as the CAC, which I plan to do for a proposal in July with them, but we wouldn't be able to make a direct expense from us ourselves.
Well, there's a project that's going to happen next to the boxing gym. The solar
Yes.
panel people.
Yes.
And part of the community benefits agreement was that they were going to help renovate the boxing gym. Is that still on the table?
That's still on the table. I know majority of their benefit agreement is to help them with their gate, to give them a new gate, because I don't know if it was a car accident, but Salim's gate that comes into the side of the building is damaged, and they propose that they'll buy them a new gate. They did say that they would help repaint the inside of the gym, but being that if you're looking at the PowerPoint still, it's a big wall. So the cost for all that is pretty expensive. So I didn't want to impose more on the ANC other than what we can allow the public to easily see without having them to become a member. And I forgot to mention that the monthly dues for Salim's boxing gym is actually $60 a month. And he provides pretty much like a 65% discount to the youth. He only charges them $20 to come in. And he also accepts donations from folks that want to pay for youth to use his services. He's a no excuse kind of guy, old school guy. I mean, Commissioner Rhodes, you know him. But those are pretty much the type of energy some of our youth need, and that's why they'll be able to do some stuff with a lot of the youth. But I think this is an opportunity for us to attract more here by, again, approving a project like this and doing it for Mount Olivet, which is Ivy City in Trinidad. Were there any other questions from the commissioners?
I just want to say I think it's an amazing project. It's excellent. It couldn't be better.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would love to see this proposal in the future somewhere in Carver Langston. So Commissioner G. Campbell, Commissioner McCollum, if there's a institution or center in need of something like this, we can definitely do this as well. But just going back to the question that was brought up by Commissioner Gray, which is a great point. Can this be done in every single member district? No, I don't think we have the money for that. But at the same time, are there institutions such as this one in every single member district? I would say no also. So I think this is a place that our youth and adults from different parts of 5D have been using. And I think it's a time that we can invest in them when we need something different other than bodies and blood on the ground. Okay. With that being said, I'd like to put a motion on the floor so we can tie up tonight's meeting. So I'll be making two motions specifically here, one for the project and one for our budget. We do have the funds, as Commissioner McCray, our treasurer, has showed us at the beginning of the meeting. And the way this proposal works, if you read it, we would pay the muralist half of the fees up front and then half once services are rendered, so they can be able to afford the costs for the materials needed to paint such a large wall. And again, they would be paid $8,000. And I think my motion will now request an adjustment to the proposal, which would be $9,500 instead of $10,000. Commissioner Rhodes, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, how long will this project take to complete?
So great question. Sorry I didn't mention that. The goal is to do a commemoration of the mural either most likely on July 19th. So a month away. So Lynch is excited for the project. He does a lot of projects in the area. I think he's out of town right now working on a project in Virginia Beach, if I'm not mistaken. But he's excited to work on the project. And hopefully it shouldn't take more than 4 weeks once we get the ball rolling. And if there is a delay, I'll have an update at our next ANC meeting, which would be July 8th. So we'll know whether the commemoration is going to be on the 12th or the 19th. Any other questions from the commission? Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes, for reminding me about that.
There's a comment by someone, Skip Keats, in the chat. I don't know if we need to address that around the use of funds in this manner. Again, being new, I feel like I'm still learning the edges of how we function.
Skip Keats, maybe what the ANC should do is create something like a seed fund that could be granted to provide basic funds on which fundraising amounts can be added. Not certain if it's legal though. The idea is legal though. I believe it's not. I believe we're not able to do such. We're not allowed to solicit funds or collect funds in this type of manner. But it doesn't mean that you as residents can do that, especially if you have a civic association, neighborhood association, or some sort of nonprofit that can collect the funds itself. But when it comes to us collecting funds, we only do that from the OANC. We can't get that from anybody else. But great point to address. Okay. With that being said, I place a motion on the floor to approve this proposal in support of a 2025 beautification project of Flatlines Boxing and Community Center at a proposed budget of $99,500. Can I get a second on this motion?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Arbuckle. We'll do roll call for the vote. 5D01.
Enthusiastically, yes.
5D02.
Yes.
5D03.
Yes.
5D04.
Yes.
5D05, I abstain. 5D06.
Yes.
5D07.
Yes.
5D09.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. I also place the final motion on the floor. I move that ANC 5D amends its budget, moving $9,500 to direct expenses to pay for this approved project. Can I get a second on this motion?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Arbuckle. All in favor of this amendment to the budget and moving this expense, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, perfect. I'm really excited about this. This space is really in need of some love. We've been struggling out here on this end of ANC 5D, and I really want to thank all the commissioners in support of this project. And best believe y'all better be there when we commemorate the mural and just enjoy some bright days for the summer ahead. I'm really excited. I'm about to cry. With that being said, we come to the end of our agenda. Here's an opportunity for folks to give us community feedback or any lingering questions before we adjourn tonight's meeting. Commissioners, was there anything else that you all wanted to address before we end tonight? Next month's meeting is hybrid. It will be at the community room at Moore Street. So please be in attendance. At our next COW meeting, commissioners, which is slated for, Commissioner Roblin, do you have the date? June 24th? June 24th. We'll play around to see what we can do with our basic technology to make meetings hybrid. Because to be paying $2,000 every public meeting, that's a lot of money.
And just a quick note on that.
Sorry?
I said June 24th is the count.
Perfect. What was that, Commissioner McCray?
I need to reach out because I'm not sure if the funds are reimbursable. If they're reimbursable, it just means we need to front the cost and get the money on the back end from the OANC, because they mentioned some technology assistance fund or something. So I'm not exactly sure what that means right now. So I'll circle back once I find out about what the hybrid technology that exists is.
I think
Yeah,
we should
more to
just
come.
I think we should just request a meeting with that individual because they were confusing me too in those emails, and I think a simple Zoom call should clarify those thoughts. But
Yeah.
okay. Commissioners, was there anything else before we let everyone go? Okay, well, it's still the month of June. Happy Pride. Please be safe out there. It's getting a little hectic, but I think we have the right folks on the ground, even amongst us. So please do your best just to keep doing what you're doing. And if you need anything, you know how to reach me. With that being said, it's 9:49 p.m. I'm going to request to adjourn tonight's meeting unless there's an opposition. Doesn't look like any. Okay, I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting at 9:49 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Drew Campbell. All in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting at 9:49 p.m. say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll see everybody in July.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.